Hey howdy, it's me, Monabyss. Honestly, this video could have probably come out in like the first week of this month, but it didn't because when I drew this piece, I actually had this piece ready before the first of this month because I was just so excited for the Spider-Man movie, the Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. I wanted to draw spider people, and I have my own spider people, so I wanted to draw her. So I'd finished the piece, and then I went maybe like a week after the release of the movie to watch the movie at the movie theaters. And then I came home and I was like, wow, I get this video out like essentially now once I like record the audio. The problem was that if I had recorded the time in which I had just watched the movie, I would spoil the entire movie because I just want to talk about everything. But I'm not going to do that, so I'm not actually going to talk about the Spider-Man movie other than the fact that I loved it, I adored it, it was my everything, and I'm excited for the next one. Because I don't want to spoil it. So the character I'm drawing is one of my two Spider-Soners. I could probably draw more, but I have two at the moment. Her name is Spider-Pelt, previously known as Spider-Heart. My other Spider-Sona, which was called Spider-Mon because it was my Spider-Sona, but I'll change that. I'm already working on reworking her because she needs a rework in my heart. Because everything was just kind of, it doesn't match up as much as I want to now that I see her again. So I'm going to rework her, and I'm going to change her name because I'm not very creative when it comes to the names, when it comes to spider people names, but I'm going to try. Spider-Pelt was really all I had when it came down to it. But they're actually supposed to be best friends, but the two different timelines. So one timeline is where Spider-Pelt is the one bit instead of my other one, and the other one is where the other one is bit instead of Spider-Pelt. But they take two very diverging paths because eventually, because they're besties, one of them dies. Like the one who is not bitten by the spider is the one that dies, and it's their like event that makes them all like, ooh, so sad. As all spider people have. But the difference between Spider-Pelt and, I'm gonna call her just Spider at the moment because I can't, I'm not gonna make up a name on the spot because then I'll have to stick with it. So Spider, after the loss of Spider-Pelt, was just, she was very sad, but she wanted to make the world like happier. She lived on. It was a very, normal Spider-Man kind of deal. But when Spider-Pelt had Spider die, she more or less turned to, well, crime isn't going anywhere, so I'll get rid of it. And she essentially becomes like a tyrannical murderer. If a criminal comes along, she'll kill him. They can't kill or hurt anyone else if they're dead. The thing that, it's not a very Spider-Man thing, but I'm allowed to do what I want. Originally, neither of my spider people were human because one of them was based off of my older Monabyss OCs, the one before the clown. Who is still around, I just don't draw her as much because they're all called Monabyss, and one day I'm gonna differentiate them one day. Not any day soon. So yeah, she wasn't human. With her redesign, I'm going to make her human, but with Spider-Pelt, I'm thinking that she isn't gonna be human. She's gonna be like, because she's got giant horns, she's not gonna be human. At least with my other one, I can just change what's under the mask. The reason, I originally called her Spider Heart because while Spider was alive, she was just like, it was a name that she got from her. And she was like, why don't you be Spider Heart? Because she wears pink and she's all like lovely and she's got all this stuff. Well, she wasn't lovely, but to Spider, she was lovely. And when it changes, it becomes like, I would assume that maybe they were like brainstorming names and stuff. One of the names on the list was it was like Spider-Pelt, so when she dies, she decides to take on Spider-Pelt because she no longer feels like Spider-Heart is something that like represents her anymore. And a palp is kind of like on arthropods or like spiders essentially, and other bugs. Arthropods. It's like those little appendages near the mouth, like when people draw spiders, they think they're like fangs or something and they're like little grippy, but really they're just like touch and taste sensors. And they're like kind of pincer looking kind of things. And I thought that would be a really good thing to call her because people find like spiders scary, obviously, but the things near their mouth is the thing they're just like, oh my god, all those eyes, and then like the little fangs it's got by its mouth. It's like, no, those are just its little touch sensors. They're just like little fingies to kind of like represent that she is scary, but like technically at one point she was not dangerous, you know, until her sadness happened. But anyway, I'd actually been sitting on this sketch for like ever since they were like, hey, we're gonna be making the new Spider. I already knew they were going to make a Spider-Man movie, another one, but I was so excited that they were going to make it. Well, I was going to see it. So I created the sketch a while ago, and I was like, yeah, when the new Spider-Man movie comes out, I'll draw it, and it'll be great. I'm so excited. I never really think about the background. Like, sometimes I'll draw a foreground of a picture and I'll be like, well, it can just be a flat ground, and it's like, no. So once I'd finished line arting Spider-Palp and then line arting the foreground, I was like, well, I don't like the very basic going backwards into just a color. I want to put more into it, and I feel like I spent a lot of time on the background because I just kept changing my mind about certain things. Oh, but I had such a fun time. Like, not so much blocking out the buildings or like stuff like that, but like cracking it and making it all like just making different colors and bright and make it pop. So I wanted to make it look like world shattering, kind of like Spider-Verse collapsing. I don't know. I should rewatch the first movie again. But I used a lot of effect pens and stuff, and a lot of bright colors, and then inverse the background. So because I had the blues, and then I was like, the blues are fantastic, but the inverse feels a lot more to her, because blue is very calming, and it's like, it was bright, and I get that, but I feel like inversing it really brought out her character more of the shattering. I'm not really sure if it comes across that she is breaking through like a building and she's coming through another wall into the building, but I don't think that matters because I feel like the effect of what I wanted really paid off here. And the symmetry tool is a godsend, because I would have hated to have to redo those her little spider mechanical claw things again. I'm really happy I didn't put too much effort into like differentiating things in the foreground and stuff, because a lot of the time I'll do that. I'll be like, well, it's closer, so it needs more detail, it needs more this and that. But because I put so much detail into the background, I like looked at it and went, well, what if I just put some like some meshes or some like textures and stuff over top of it, and then call it a day, put some shading on it. It works so much better. I only have one dot brush. Well, I have two inside, but like the other one doesn't like sit like well. The pattern doesn't line up, so that'll be just like half dots somewhere around there. So I only have technically one dot brush. I really do wish I had one of those like in Clip Studio where they have like manga brushes or whatever they're called. So then I could make more like dots and all that stuff. But you know, you gotta work with what you got. Because I really like the dot effects. The comic book dots and all of that. I love that on them. Once I'd finished the background and I was working on like Spider-Man, I had to like really zoom in because I was starting to get really nauseous from watching all the colors. Because I'd been staring at this piece for like 5 hours. Like, I had breaks. I'd come back and I'd sit down and, you know, I'd go out and get water and stuff. But like, I was moving this like rainbow Technicolor vomit on around my eyes for so long that I'd started to get really nauseous. So I was just like, okay, we're gonna like zoom in to like shade Spider-Palp, because it is getting rough in my tummy. It was almost headache inducing, but I'm so happy with how it came out. Every step of this, I was just like, the line art, I love it. The background, I know it was just kind of made at the moment, but I love it. The colors, I know I changed them, but I love it. Every step of it, I was having so much fun. It wasn't like one of the ones where I'm like, oh, if I keep pushing, then maybe it'll come out great, which they do. But this one, it just felt really good to have every step of it to love. each and every piece of it. And I don't know what the difference was. Maybe it was just because I was really excited about the Spider-Man movie, or because I had the composition I was happy with. Maybe there was just a lot on the screen that I was just like, yes. I've been using a new crunchy brush that I made. I was just like, yeah, this looks like a very fun brush to be using for the line art and for the shading. And it felt like it fit the picture really well, rather than like if I used a solid black brush or whatever. It's really hard to talk about Spider People and Spider-Man and all that without talking about the new movie. Which is why I wanted to give it a bit of time before I started recording, because I would have outright just explained the entire movie and everything I loved and hated. Like, I'm sure people have seen the stuff on the internet and stuff, but I don't plan to be one of the ones who spoil it. I genuinely think it is a good movie. For those who don't know, it is the first half of a movie. It's the first half of a movie. And I fully recommend watching this movie. I think the first one is on Disney Plus or Netflix, one of them. So I definitely advise watching the first one, because the first one with Miles is fantastic. The second one is fantastic, and I'm sure the third one will be just as fantastic. I own the art book, and I will own the art book of the first Spider-Man, and I will have the art book of the second one, because they are such genuine marvels of art. I love what they do with each of the characters. There's the redesigns of some characters from their comics to make them like a little better for the movie and stuff. I love that. I just wish I could be behind the eyes of some of the people who were making the concept art, who were making the colors and all the choices for the movie, because the art in it just blows me away. I want to be able to draw like the people in the Spider-Verse. I want to be able to animate like that, but I know, as someone who does not like animating, I won't. So the best I can do is just have fun with what I got. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.